welcome back to Stephanie Plans and Reads. Today I wanted to talk about setting up our 2025 planners. I'm so excited to, just like everyone else, to be going into my new planners. This one's going to be my reading journal, and this is my everything planner. But before I get to these, I think it's important to look back and see how your 2024 planners worked for you and how you worked in your planners. So I'm going to be performing a planner autopsy. So what is a planner autopsy? Basically, it's going through your planners forensically, very detailed, and talking about what you liked and didn't like, or what worked or didn't work in each section of the planner. So for the Sterling Ink Common Planner, you have the same sections in each of the different sizes. So I'm going to use my main planner as the example, but I'll be doing the same thing with my reading planner as well. And as often happens when I'm filming, Zeus is around, and you might see his ginger body walking through the shot. Okay, so this is my Sterling Ink Common Planner. It's the A5. It's bulking up lovely. This page here that's kind of come out, it's not a fault of the planner at all. I ripped out a page, and then the page that it was twinned with started to come out, so I just washi taped it back in, which was fine, except I didn't do it perfectly straight, so it sticks out a little bit, but that's no fault of the planner. The only thing that's different than on my usual flip throughs or everything is I added a new sticker here, this Cats Against Patriarchy sticker. So planner autopsy. So what you want to do is just find a free page in your planner or even a notebook, whatever, and you want to, I'm going to actually change this so that you can see it. I'm going to kind of flop the notebook in on itself. There, that works. Yeah, so you want to create kind of two lines, so columns, ones that said what worked and what didn't work, and then you want to go through each section of the planner and write down what they are. So the index section, the goal page, this is the Sterling Ink Planner, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. So I'll just show you in here because I don't want to unflip that. But you have this page. Some people use this page. I never ever use this page, so I don't include it. But you have the index pages, or what's some people use as vision boards, whatever. Then you have the goal breakdown. Then you have the quarterly pages. So I'll just put that there so you can see quarterly pages, the monthly pages, then the weekly pages, and the daily pages. Okay, so what I've started to do here is I've written down what I liked about how I used that page and what I didn't like, or what worked and what didn't work. The verbiage is different, but it's essentially the same thing. And you just want to write down, how this worked. And think about how you use them versus what they are for. So for example, this is the index page. I liked knowing where things were. I put which worked for me. So I did use it. So I did use it-ish, okay? But I didn't use as much as, so this is what didn't work, I didn't use it as much as was allocated to that section. So I really didn't need to have 2 pages of index, but I also didn't index as much as I would have. And I do find myself not looking in here first and just kind of scrolling through the back pages. So then when I look at that, what worked and what didn't work, I could pretty much see that that section doesn't work for me the way that it was intended, or the way that I had intended to use it. So now I might be thinking what might be better in that section is a vision board, or using the index only as one of the pages. Apologize for the car there, sound there. So maybe using the index only on this page, and this page can be a vision board or something else. But new ideas are not part of the planner autopsy, right? So the planner autopsy is just to find out what happened here, like a regular autopsy. So then we go to the second section, which is the goal page. And I made quite good use of the goal page. I did it ahead of time before, gosh, I can't even remember exactly when I did the goal page. So what I liked was having had it all written down to refer to for the whole year. And the breakdown was helpful in some ways. So for example, the 1 year, half year, quarterly breakdown, monthly, weekly, daily. I liked having this kind of broken down for me. And there was, kind of milestones I could check and see how I got to the point in the half year that I thought I was going to. This column here, I think is normally called like someday or eventually, or let's see what it's called. Yeah, someday. The someday didn't really resonate with me that much. So I liked the 1 year kind of column, and I thought that was a good kind of barometer to measure because the planner is for 1 year. But I didn't really think that someday was going to be that useful. So I changed it to values. And so I had all of these things that I wanted to kind of have a goal in mind through the year. And then I aligned it with some of my core values. So why was I doing this goal? So for example, reading. I just like to read. So pleasure is one of my goals. And curiosity, because I like to learn stuff. So work. Why am I working? Well, security, it makes me feel secure. Pleasure, I like working. Curiosity, I did work in education, so I liked learning things, so etc. So I could have these categories in my life where I thought, there should be goals, or I wanted to have goals. And then I put the values that aligned with it. So I really liked how I did that there. So for what I liked having this to be able to refer to every year, and the breakdown was quite helpful. It was a bit too detailed. So what I didn't like was that, like, for example, and this is the way I used it, so there's no fault of the page, but I was quite detailed in terms of like numbers, especially like what I needed to read. For example, quarterly was 25, but then monthly I needed to read 8.3, weekly I needed 1.9, daily I needed 0.3. 0.3 of a book does not really help me there. So it got a little bit forensically detailed there, which is not necessarily what I needed. And what really came out of this, and what I found mainly through quarter 4, is that I need to focus on the habit. So for example, this 0.3 reading, that doesn't tell me anything, but the habit is read a little bit every day. So this could have been, the habit could have been transferred along rather than just the stat. Same with my Stephanie Plans and Read. So I had some goals that I'm very close to meeting in a lot of ways. But it got to be, daily thinking, I needed 2.1 or 7 point subscribers, Instagram followers, TikTok followers per day. That's not really something that I can manage. It either happens or it doesn't happen. But what I can do to increase that is to, publish more often. So maybe daily could be, one post on, Instagram or TikTok, and then weekly I could make sure I have one video. So I need to like configure this to be about the habit that I'm creating rather than these kind of numbers, which are useful and they help. And I want to increase my numbers. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year. I'm not sure if I'll make it, but I hope. But I want to focus on the habit of this more. So that's something I need to change about this page. So next is the quarterly, and so I've just started this. The layout is simple but useful, and I like having a place to track habits. So I used this a couple of different ways. I put all my habits. So this side has always been the same. So I put my habits at the top, then I use a dot marker to track it, and then I calculate the amount of times I did it in the month and all the habits and figure out a percentage. And what I found was that some of the habits I was doing all the time. So they were already a habit. I didn't need to track it anymore. So in the second quarter, I stopped doing that. So you can see it's much smaller here. Again, I did my, percentage at the bottom, except for this month for whatever reason. And then the same for quarter 3. Again, this month of September, the last month in the quarter, I was sick and I hurt my back. So that didn't get a lot of completion there in my habits. But in quarter 4, I decided I really wanted to focus on 3 habits that I wasn't doing with enough regularity. And that is flossing and eye drops, putting eye drops in my eyes, and doing my skincare. And I found that focusing on the 3 habits, I ended up doing them a lot more than I had been. So I do like this page. I think I'm using it the way I think it's most useful for me. However, I think focusing on less habits is good here. So I might, have it in the future and have my habits on the one side and then maybe something else I want to track. We'll see. But this is working well. Now with this page was breaking down my my goals into quarterly kind of sections. So coming up with 4, 5, 6 goals that I want for this particular month and then checking them off. So what I did for the first quarter is I just checked them off if I had done them. I didn't like that as much. It wasn't giving me enough info. So then I decided to, again, put a line through it and then do my goals here and then the highlights or what things I did accomplish in terms of my goals, which I did again in quarter 3. And then in quarter 4, I will do it. I have not made the line yet, but I will do it because I do like the way that works. So again, I'm not going to go through the rest because I think you can see what I'm going to be doing. The months, I think I always use them, well, let's say I generally use them for appointments, birthdays, holidays, and then sports events that are happening on that day that I want to watch on television. And that works for me fairly well. However, I do find that it seems like it's quite empty. So I'm thinking, what I like about them is it's nice and big and you can see what you're, what's happening. I apologize. That's the sound of my dryer. It's finished. But I think that I could do more with this space. So thinking about my 2025 planners, I think about what could I use this space for that will still allow me to see my dates and everything in a kind of very easily identifiable way, but also make this space look a little bit more used. Then we move on to the weeks. I'll just take a sample of the weeks. You can see here that I generally have mixed this up according to the way, I want to do it that particular week. I have tried out lots of stickers. I've tried doing more of a kind of functional layout where I have my goals or my tasks on the page, my to-do list. Sometimes it's very kind of kit heavy and stickered. And I have been using the like the margin here, the sidebar, to write down the highlights for the week and my meals that we had that week. And for the most part, I'd say this works. It relies on a lot of stickering, which I don't want to rely on stickers all the time, or I don't want to rely on kits all the time. But as long as I have the kits, I will continue to use them. But I think that, sometimes I'm not using a kit and just using washi. And yeah, I think just experimenting in that way. I don't really have anything that I have a problem with this. I will say, if it gets to the point where I don't have a lot of stickers and I'm not buying them and stuff, I will probably move a lot of my to-dos back into the weeks and keep the daily section for more journaling and things like that. But yeah, this kind of works the way it is. And then finally we have the dailies. These are not dailies. These are empty pages at the back, and you can make them dailies. So what did I like about my empty pages here? I liked the fact that they were free. So you do whatever you want with them. So I was able to experiment with a lot of different styles, a lot of different layouts, and using stickers, using accent stickers, using no stickers, lots of Tombow, some fountain pen. I was able to do, lists of things that I want to accomplish. I wrote down recipes, things I want to remember, use different kinds of pens. This was largely experimentation. I moved my to-dos back here. And then I started using, full page per day rather than just a half page, but mixing it up when I need to. Sometimes it's deco, sometimes there's very little deco, sometimes it's a little bit more messy, sometimes it looks like it's, a little bit neater. Yeah, and really enjoy the kind of freedom that these empty pages give me. I have not used, so I'm here. It's the middle of October, and I have quite a lot of pages left. But I didn't want to get the compact because I used more pages than the compact, but not as much as this. So some things maybe that didn't work for me were the amount of pages or the kind of conservation of pages. Trying to make, 2 days per page, but then feeling like, I didn't get to write everything that I wanted to. Another thing that I started to do toward the end of this, or the beginning of October, was I stopped using my Clenna so much in the back here, and I started using the Uniball Jetstream. And I'm not exactly sure why, but I find like I write more with the Uni Jetstream than I do with the Clenna. And I think going forward, limiting myself to the Clenna, which I was writing in most of the time. I think sometimes I wrote with other gel pens, but it was mainly the Clenna or my fountain pen. I just found like I like it because it's quite a dark ink, but I just was finding like I wasn't writing everything. I was just kind of, yeah, it was a little bit as barren. For now, I'm just kind of constantly writing, and I'm able to do this more of, rather than just like this is what happened today, but really getting into some more long form journaling. Not, you know, Dear Diary stuff, I keep that away, but just a little bit more in depth. So yeah, so things that might change in the future will be to think about, you know, sticking with the Uniball, or starting with the Uniball anyway, and continuing to experiment, because that's what these pages are for. They're just for me and the internet. And I look at people who show their planner on the internet, and every page is a beautiful kind of same style, and I love it. It looks so pretty, but that's never going to be my pages, because I get to like I always feel the need to change things up in terms of the style and the format, and that's why I think I like the Sterling Ink Common Planner so much, is that you have that option to mix things up. So after you go through your entire, so I'll fill this out in more detail, kind of just what I was saying on the video. Then you're going to think about all the stuff that didn't work and how you might change that for the coming year. So I still am going to be in a Sterling Ink Common Planner A5 vertical. It's the exact same planner, but I might decide to, you know, do a couple of things differently based on the autopsy that I've done. So I don't want to set up this planner using this kind of the strategies that I've used here if this didn't exactly work for me. So I think performing a planner autopsy for all of the planners that you have is really crucial before you start planning in your next planner. And some of you might even want to do it before you even buy your planners. I know I had looked through my common planner, and besides the kind of a few things that I might change, I still loved the planner. So I knew I was still going to order another one. But before I set it up, I want to know, do each one of these sections, are they going to be the same? You can also do it in terms of the way that you've done your cover and your, opening pages. Does this, like for me, this style really works for me. I do like the clear cover and having the clear cover without any other cover. It's just that there's not enough space for, you know, all the stickers and post-it notes and everything that I like to carry with me. But yeah, it's a good way of, planner autopsy is a good way of thinking about every little part of the planner before you start, you know, prepping it for 2025. The next stage would be, and this is what I'm going to be doing next, is go through this one and put post-it notes on the sections, like a pre-planning, pre-setup, where I'll put post-it notes on the different sections and say what I'm going to be using them for. Now, this section is a new one for 2025. It's a weekly tracker, they're calling it. And it's got, for the A5, it's got 10 little boxes in each day. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be using this for. If you've got any ideas of what you're going to be using this page for, as opposed to like this page, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah, so performing a planner autopsy. Let me know how your planner autopsies go. How have you started setting up your 2025 planners, or have you been looking at your 2024 planner and thinking, okay, these things work, these things don't, and how am I going to best change that for next year? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.